My name's Ben. We're at Victoria Gardens, Brighton. This is Occupy Brighton in solidarity with the 99% movement, which has spread around the globe. We're last count 1,040 cities. We're city 1,030 on that list, and we're proud to represent with the rest of the world. We're facilitating a forum for a debate which the establishment are ignoring. The government, the corporations don't think we need to have this debate. Or they're not admitting that we need to have this debate, and we feel that this is necessary, beyond necessary. I should try and phrase that better.
What are you hoping to achieve?
At the moment, we're focusing on objectives rather than aims. The objectives being the problems which we can all agree exist, and we're facilitating a forum to explore the aims, which are the solutions to those problems. We don't feel that knee-jerk reactions are a way to deal with the problems which we all face, because that's how we got into this mess. The democratic model, the consensus model that we're using, takes into account all perspectives, and we believe that by deploying this model we'll arrive at more sensible solutions.
Have you had any dialogue down here with any sort of local representatives or any representatives of who you'd like to speak to?
Yeah, props need to go to the Blind Tiger Club, the King and Queen, the All Market Diner, the Wood Recycling Centre just up the road, the Unemployment Centre, the Resource Centre, the Socialist Worker Party, UK UNCUT, the Coalition Against the Cuts, the Green Party have also been very supportive, and a contentious one, but I would say Sussex Police have also facilitated and been supportive of our occupation here. Although obviously they're at the behest of the establishment in other parts of the country, so that's contentious, but props to all those people. Anyone else I've forgotten we need to thank? There's more. The general public, the local businesses, the sensible people of Brighton and Hove.
Great.
Oh, and the Zeitgeist movement have also been instrumental in making this happen.
So are you hopeful that this occupation and all the other occupations can make some change?
Of course, yeah, of course. It's going to be a long process. Consensus isn't easy, direct democracy isn't easy, it's going to take a lot of hard work, but we're getting there. You know, we're here, the debates are happening, and yeah, it's a lot of optimism and a lot of hope. We agreed at the first assembly that the main aim, the consensus for everybody at every assembly, is education, and the opportunity to re-educate ourselves, to challenge the status quo is a central tenet of the occupation, and I think that goes for the national and international movement as well.
When did you first become interested in this philosophy and this movement?
Personally,
yeah.
I became aware of it with the Indignados in Spain, but I mean, you could trace it back to free speech in '68 in America. Really, it's the same struggle. It's exactly the same problems that we're facing. And in fact, many of the commentators from the 60s and 70s were predicting that we would end up in this place. You can call it the death of capitalism if you want. I don't think this present system is capitalism. This is crony capitalism. This is a perversion of the principles of capitalism, and it needs to be addressed. However, the establishment as it stands isn't kitted out to address it, so we the people, the 99% around the world, are taking that responsibility. We've got great power in the West, more power than in other places in the world, and it's a responsibility that we need to wield properly, responsibly. We need to take it seriously. We can't just sit on our bums watching Big Brother and X Factor and pretending everything's okay when it isn't.
Cool. Are you having any contact with any of the other occupations?
Yep, we've had a lot of support from LSX. They've sent down teams to help with organising tranquility, organising the general oversight of the camp. I think I'm right in saying we're nominating delegates to go up to LSX, and that's happening for all the occupiers in the country to hash out some of the conclusions that we've arrived through consensus. And ultimately that's going to scale up to the international level. So the optimist's view of the Occupy movement is that we will come up with a series of proposals which the people of the world agree on, rather than this occupation or the occupation at LSX or the occupation in DC or Wall Street or anywhere around the world. It needs to be integrated, and that's what everybody involved in the movement wants to happen. We need to arrive at a consensus for sensible solutions to the problems we face. That's the principal aim as I see it.
And do you think this is going to snowball? The whole movement's going to snowball, and it really...
It is. It has and will continue to. The more people suffer, the more people will come. The only thing holding people from joining the occupation now, physically, is fear for their futures, fear for their jobs, fear for their homes. As the austerity measures continue to kick in, as the system continues to collapse, as world governments continue to borrow money from the IMF, the World Bank, the ECB, at rates which are untenable and unsustainable, we will get more bodies here. It's happening already. There are more homeless people. The government in this country has just made squatting illegal, homelessness is illegal, PFI in prisons. It's an unsustainable system, and the choice is clear. You either get angry and achieve nothing, or you get down to your local Occupy, get involved in the debate and make something positive happen out of it. Or else we will all end up dying alone in bed sits with nobody caring about us, insulated from the society around us. Really, I mean, we have a community here. We have people who really care about what's happening in the world and what's happening to each other, and we want to mitigate those problems for ourselves and for each other.
Great.
Bravo.
Great.
Solidarity, brothers and sisters. Apply the Bill Hicks equation. Choose love over fear, because at the end of the day, if you choose fear, you're inviting chaos, and chaos is an indiscriminate enemy, and it will affect rich and poor alike. The 1% will suffer as much as the 99% if we suffer under chaos. We need to come together. We need to get real about the problems we face, and that is a simple choice between love and fear. And for decades, the establishment, the 1% have chosen fear over love, and that needs to change.
Well, me personally, I'm here because I've coached children for the last 20 odd years, and seeing them grow up nowadays and have far less opportunity to fulfill their potential. I feel that if I don't do something, I'll be letting them down. Lots of them have lots to offer, but at the moment there's nowhere for them to get opportunities to work, to learn, and to have any faith that the future is going to get better for them. And I don't want them to think that people in my generation are just happy to let that be. So I'm here to give them a voice and give everybody else who's not being treated fairly a voice. And hopefully we can get the attention of the people who can do something about that, so that they won't be concerned about the fact that we've got tents here, but are actually concerned about the reason why we're here, and get involved in an adult discussion to make things better. Okay, well, we've grown pretty much day by day, actually. We've had all different types of people give us support and donations and the benefit of their experience. And overall, we've had a huge amount of positivity. And the more time we're here, the more people that have things to offer and things to share come and join with what we're doing. And so we're creating a much greater movement here than we expected, because the people of Brighton have been so positive in responding to what we're offering. Even though it will get colder in the next few weeks, I can't see that we're going to get smaller in the next few weeks. There's many, I think there's over 1,000 occupations in half the countries in the world. And once they get established, every occupation is growing, and I don't see why Brighton should be any different. In terms of local politics, we can give a lot of expression to people in the local area, and also by speaking with a unified voice, it becomes much harder for some of the elected representatives to ignore you, as they often do until election time, because it shines a light on them being responsive to the people that they work for. In terms of nationally and globally, it also gives us a much more unified voice, because it's the first global protest of its nature that's ever happened in history. So it's quite a unique thing to happen. And so when some politicians say we can't regulate the financial system in London because companies will just go to Switzerland, well, if we're occupying Geneva and Zurich and they're saying the same thing, that argument doesn't wash. So they're going to need a more adult response and a more honest response to some of those very serious questions that affect lots of people's lives, because politicians in Switzerland say the same thing. They can't regulate their financial industries because they'll come to the City of London. And with a global resistance like we have, or we're part of here, those facile arguments just don't wash anymore, and more people are aware of that and are saying enough is enough.
Have you had any sort of negativity while you've been here at this camp?
Not really. We have had some people who've not been sure what we're doing, who've come and found out what we're about here, and have been quite approving. We've even had some people who've been very negative and very hostile. And even though sometimes it takes an hour or more to engage with them and talk to them about exactly what we're doing, it's very nice to have people's eyes open to the fact that we're not lying down with welcome tattooed on our forehead and letting people walk all over us anymore, that we are actually standing up and taking proactive steps to get the representation that we want. If we're promised a real voice and we're not given it, then the adult thing to do is to go and give ourselves that voice, and this is what we're doing here. And we hope that the politicians and representatives who should be listening to that voice can join us in that adult discussion. Come and join us in an adult discussion. That's really the thing that a lot of the media haven't been focusing on. It's not about where we're camping and what we're doing. What is really important is that we have a forum where people can be heard and be listened to and engage in an adult discussion, unlike the child's play that is often Prime Minister's time in Westminster. We want to give people a real voice, because with the way the financial system is intertwined with the political system, and interest is put on money at the point of creation, which makes an economic system that's designed to fail. And the people are seeing this now because it's really affecting their lives, that actually they need to discuss a way forward with the people, as opposed to ignoring the people and just speaking out for their paymasters. The message I'd really like to send to the powers that be is we've developed an adult discussion here where people come and they share their thoughts and ideas and they come to consensus, and we're doing that in an adult, respectful way. And compared to the way our so-called representatives behave in Westminster, where it's like a school playground with their childish horseplay and Prime Minister's question time, and there's a very, very serious things that they're discussing and responsible for that really affect people's lives. So if they can engage with us and have an adult conversation to find the best ways forward, that would be what the vast majority of people involved with Occupy are really wishing for. Right, this is my tent. Actually, I should look it up because I've got a few valuable bits in here.
So, for me, the key thing that distinguishes Occupy from other movements, apart from its global nature, is the fact that we're using the General Assembly consensus model, whereby everybody's opinions are taken into account. This is different from the present democracy, where if 51% of people agree on something, it goes through. 49% of people get ignored. With the consensus model, which, as far as I know, every occupation is deploying, you debate until you arrive at a consensus, meaning everybody agrees, everybody's point of view is taken into account. If somebody doesn't agree with a proposal, it continues the debate until we arrive at a mutually acceptable compromise or a solution which everybody can get on with.